Let's come back to the studio where we have Professor Agbazuere. You know, a lot of things happen here, and some of the basic things. By the way, in neighboring Ghana, the court has actually asked the citizens to stop the protest. And now you come back home, what we're getting, that the court is saying, look, you can protest, but you will be restricted. Now it comes back to the laws. Help us make sense of what this is about. On one hand, you have the liberty, the rights to protest, but on the other hand, it looks like you're a little bit restricted.
Thank you very much. In the first place, Ghana and Nigeria, they are two different sovereign states, governed by different constitutions. So what is happening in Ghana, even if it is wrongly being done in Ghana, that does not mean we must do it here. In Nigeria, as far as I am concerned, I want to start this way, that by saying that protests are constitutional rights. They are legitimate. Even our president was protesting. He was with us in Campaign for Democracy before he journeyed into Nadeko and, of course, fled at a point. So I don't also see him not supporting protest. I think that what I would suffice is that both parties should be careful. Those who want to protest should do it very, very peacefully. Government should be careful not to get those people who are saying, I understand some people want to now protest be on the streets in favor of government. Let those people find their own route. Let the protesters find their own route. They must not clash. Then police too should be careful, not attack civilians who are protesting peacefully. And that's why I also say they should protest peacefully. And when that is done, then our infrastructure will not be destroyed. I understand again that an FCT High Court has given an order that Protestants, those who want to protest in Abuja should only restrict themselves to the Moshood Abiola Stadium. I also understand that they are relying on Section 45 of the Constitution. That is wrong. Very, very wrong. That section is saying nothing in this Constitution shall invalidate any law that is reasonably justified in a democracy. And when they are talking about any law in this state in the Constitution, it is talking about law as provided for in the Constitution in Section 4. In the Constitution of Nigeria, it is only the legislature that is allowed to make laws. So in this Constitution, pursuant to Section 45, what they are looking at is laws as made by the legislature. Yes, decisions of courts, which is provided for in Section 6 of the Constitution, are also called case laws. But that couldn't have been the contemplation of the drafters of the Constitution. The drafters of the Constitution were looking at lawmaking as ascribed and given in the Constitution. And that is only in Section 4. So for anybody to be taking advantage of that, to do what they want to do, is wrong.
So this Section 45 that you talk about, yes. Sorry, I need to, butt in here. Doesn't it give some kind of exception where, you can abridge persons' rights?
It does.
Right.
It does. In the interest of security, public peace, public order, and so on. But we are saying it is only pursuant to a law made properly by the National Assembly, as in federal cases, or state assemblies, as in state cases, and not interpretations of the courts. Are you getting the point?
Right.
Case laws, that's what they are called. Now, the issue of people who were quarreling that these people should... in fact, I was also shocked and surprised that a governor in the southeast was on television to say that for people to protest, they need to get approval. This is a person I know that went to school. And that's why Shakespeare said that he could be a professional peeping Tom, yet an amateur blackmailer. So, you see, it's unfortunate. Section 83, subsection 4 of the Police Act 2020 says very clearly, said, where a person notifies the police, deriving from the powers of every Nigerian to peacefully assemble and, of course, engage in protests, Section 40. Now, the Police Act is saying where a person notifies the police that the police should provide protection. Right. So it is not something that is to be debated.
Now let's take the case of Lagos, where the protesters have actually gone ahead, to ask the state government or the police, if you like, to provide buses, to convey them to and fro the protest grounds. In this case, in the case of Lagos, is the Freedom Park. Does that suffice in terms of notification of the authorities? Yes. And if the authorities don't respond positively to these requests, what then does that mean? What is,
in the first place, what the law is saying, the Police Act, and even the Constitution, if you a combined reading, what it's saying is that even if you don't notify them, you are free to protest. Now that you have mentioned the case of Lagos State, they need to take advantage of that. I mean, the police, if they do so. If they don't, the people are free. But I must also say this. President Tinubu has also started doing good things. It is this mistake of fuel subsidy removal that has put everybody into trouble. From 180 naira to 200 and then almost 800 and something to 1,000 plus. Yeah. Now, if you look at the local government autonomy, he has also tried to force in to the people. It's a good step, even though I've also said they need to go and amend Section 162, subsection 5 of the Constitution.
What does that do?
That one says that every money due to a local government shall be paid to the state. Are you getting the point? Shall be paid to the state, and then the state will, for the benefit of local governments. So if the money is to be paid to the state, as provided for in the Constitution, you can no longer, through Supreme Court, say pay it directly to. It becomes a conflict. Right. Because, like I said earlier, judgments of courts are case laws. That case law will now be in conflict with the Constitution. And you now look at Section 1, subsection 3 of the Constitution of Nigeria, which says that this Constitution shall be supreme, and any other law that is inconsistent with this Constitution shall, to the extent of its inconsistency, become null and void. So these are conflicts. And that's also why they need to, Mr. President needs to get the National Assembly to do something by way of amending that Section 162, subsection 5, and even subsection 6, 7, and 8. But then there is also a problem. That problem is that you also need resolution of 2/3 of all the local governments. If not, it will not work in the states. And the state governors will block that. And that's why I wrote Mr. President about these problems. Okay. In May, I told him that you cannot, since you've removed the palliatives, fuel subsidy, the palliatives, you must not be giving it to governors, who will only be giving to their own party members, leaving the rest of Nigerians, and they will react. Okay. And this thing has not been, they have not gotten any reaction up till now. And unless these things are done, there will be problems.
Of course, what you're trying to say is that this government has put some policies in place, but maybe the communication to Nigerians is not effective or strong enough for them to understand that, okay, this government is taking some steps.
Let's jump back into the laws.
Well, unfortunately, we're told to wrap now.
Okay, all right. Okay, then. I think
and before we wrap, let me also say this. The people that went to court in Abuja, it's a very wrong stratagem. They went to court the last day, and the court made order that the other parties should be served through newspaper publication. Then that means that newspaper publication will come tomorrow. And non-service means nothing. It means that those people, before they are served, they are already on the streets. So that court order, of course, and service is at the root of everything in court. Even a process that is not served deprives the court of jurisdiction. So they should have been, and I understand that this notice of that they will go on protest has been there for about 3 weeks. Yeah. Why didn't they go to court in time to serve them timeously so that they will be expected to comply?
So many questions there, Professor.
Yes.
Anthony Agbazuere, thank you so much, Professor of Law. Agbazuere.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight.